I don't know why I still spend energy on this list. I know, like, we know that this list doesn't mean shit, right? Like, we know that we talked about it, and it's still, I see it, and I'm just like, that sucks. It's That Football Show here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Matt Verderame on a special July 4th edition of That Football Show. Thank you to Ben Holiday, Bottled and Bond Bourbon. Hopefully you guys are all dipping into that. If you're not, I hope you're dipping into other products from Holiday Distillery, 360 Vodka, things of that nature. Appreciate them, as always, for being such generous sponsors of this here fine program. Matt, how are you doing? Different location for you today. How was the trip out to New York?
It was good. I got to be honest. It was good, man. 14 hours, no issues. Got out, what the hell was it? I don't know, Tuesday night. Now, sitting here at the old family lake house. So tomorrow night, because we're recording on Thursday night because we don't want to work the damn holiday either. July 4th, going to be watching people blow their hands off out there, shooting off fireworks for my enjoyment. And, grilling, living the dream. We'll talk about July 4th grilling a little bit later on. I'm going to tell everybody up front, if you're like, man, hardcore football, I wouldn't expect it. We're gonna talk about football for about 15 minutes. And we got beef of the week. We got Bozo of the week. We got power rankings. We are going to probably reconfigure this a little bit here next week.
Yeah.
But this show is going to be about as American as it gets. So settle in.
That is a great point. And if you're listening to this show on July 4th, my hat goes off to you. I'm not wearing one, but if I was, my hat goes off to you because
you're wearing like 9 of them.
I should just borrow one from the ad read. Yeah, you're right. I did get up to 9 hats. No, I do think shout out to everyone, all the ball knowers who are watching today's podcast. Not sure how much ball you'll learn today, but
not much.
But I think that's a good tone. I think that's a good tone to sit and there's absolutely nothing going on in the National Football League. I have 4 things written down that we can talk about on quick hitters. And last time we recorded, Matt, was Monday. So since Monday, there's been 4 things that happened. We're recording on a Thursday.
And they're quick hitters. They're not even actual topics.
Right. Just things that we can be like, oh, that happened. Oh, that's kind of cool. We'll talk a little bit about the Dolphins trading for Darren Waller. But that's about all that's left in the tank. And here's the thing too. We're getting pretty close to the Trey Smith extension deadline that's coming up on July 15th.
Correct.
But there's been really no new news about that. I don't know if you've heard anything, how you feel about an extension coming or anything. But yeah.
I always kind of believe like silence is usually a good thing when it comes to this stuff. It kind of feels counterintuitive, but like the reason I say that, like right now the TJ Watt stuff, there's a whole lot of like he said, she said, that kind of a vibe, like, oh, I don't feel this good about this. And then they're like, well, I don't feel good about that. When you don't hear stuff out of a team or an agent, a lot of times that means they don't want to upset the apple cart. Like, have a good relationship. Things are good. Like, I guarantee you right now, if the Chiefs thought Trey Smith was asking for a ridiculous amount of money, or if Trey Smith's side thought the Chiefs were being really cheap, you'd know it.
Yeah.
You would know it. Somebody would be leaking out information to some of us in the media. There'd be some noise around that. The fact there is not tells me that both sides are pretty like, okay, no reason to fire a shot across the bow.
I wonder too, and like this obviously wasn't something we were going to talk about on today's show, but I mean it's necessary because we started off last show by talking about how Trey Smith was going to sign an extension, and we're about in the range of like that's going to happen, and he's getting pretty close. Obviously, on the date with that being July 15th, it's July 3rd when we're recording this podcast. So I think if it does happen, it might be right before camp. Again, this is also a time where all these guys are on vacation. Like they're on like the last few vacations. Like not to mention just like the football guys. I think Andy Reid finally goes on vacation around this time anyway.
They all do it camp. Camp.
Yeah, and it's not just football. It's like staff. It's business side of football. It's like you got to bring in people for contract signing. You got to bring in all that stuff. And they're like, well, why don't we just wait and do it in till we have a deadline, like when the deadline is. So I'm not too worried about it. I hope it doesn't happen on the July 4th holiday. We'll be doing a live breaking news team with me and freaking draped in an American flag, I guess, if that's how that happens. But I will be live when that contract signing does come down. But there's some other things on the interior offensive line that we can talk about here, because the Chiefs finally had their first player hit the top 100 earlier than I expected, and I think earlier than a lot of people expected. But let's go ahead and run through the top 100. The last time we recorded a podcast, they released the first two guys at player number 199. That was Ladd McConkey at 100.
It was Ladd McConkey.
Shout out Ladd at number 100. Yeah, rookie getting being a rookie, finding your way in year 2 on the top 100. Yeah, good. He had a good year. I like Ladd McConkey. And then Leonard Williams was number 99. Yes. Number 98 was released on Tuesday, I believe, is how they were doing it. They're doing these 2 days, 2 at a time, which is awful. Aaron Jones, number 98, and Drake London, 97. That one, I'll be honest, that one surprised me he was on the list.
A little bit. Good player, but I if you told me to rank my top 100 players, like, he'd probably be considered, which is why he's 97. But I don't know that I would have made him on there, or would have put him on there.
A couple of defensive guys on the next two players that were announced. Number 96, Levante David, still finding himself in the top 100.
Guy's been good for like 15 years, so kudos to him.
A fun little exercise I did. This is a sidebar. I did this on Wednesday. I went through roster by roster from the Super Bowl starters of the 2020 season of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the 2024 to think what roster was better. I gave the slight edge to Tampa Bay in terms of overall, but it's incredibly close in terms of how good those rosters are.
The reason the Bucs were seen oddly that year, is because they were 7-5 to start the season.
For sure.
Like, they were trying to factor in like Brady's offense and Aaron's offense. Once they got going, the team was.
I think this was unreal. Yeah, that defensive front was nasty.
They had Mike Evans on offense with Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Fournette running the ball, Brady throwing the ball. They had Wirfs to tackle. The team was. And the Chiefs were trotting out like you, me, and like 3 road cones up front. And they're like, I don't know, maybe.
That was Wirfs' rookie year, too.
I know.
Crazy.
Hell, man, that game was in Tampa.
Yeah, it was. It was a home game.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
stop.
We went. What Super Bowl was that? Was that 55? Right?
Yes.
So we went 54 Super Bowls without a home team winning, and then they had a back-to-back years. That's crazy.
The funny thing was, I'll never forget. I covered the game. I was in the stadium for the Rams-Bengals game.
Yeah.
I was in the press box. There were more Bengals fans than Rams fans at that game. And it was in Los Angeles.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And it was, they're like, whose house? And it was like, Rams' house? Like, with a question mark? Maybe. I don't know. It was one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen.
Well, it's just a normal.
This is why they moved originally. This is why. This is why nobody stays in Los Angeles in football. I mean, now they will, because SoFi is the crown jewel of the sport. But, like, I'll tell you right now, you know why they're going to be able to survive there? Because opposing fans can pack the building. That's why. Yeah. If opposing fans didn't go to those games, they'd have 25,000 people at every game.
That's why Vegas works in every sport.
You couldn't tell that entire week that the Rams were in the Super Bowl. It was insane. But anyway, we digress. All right, so we got Levante David. Then
Josh Sweat at 95. The new Arizona Cardinals defense.
Okay. Deserves to be on the list.
At number, so what are we at? 94 here?
Yeah.
Oh, did I miss 94? Where's 94 at? Wow, I'm not seeing that on the NFL page.
They just skip it like an exit that got like removed from the highway?
No, I know why I don't see 94 because it's pinned at the top. Sam Laporta, 94. That's a little high for Sam Laporta, in my opinion.
Sam Laporta last year wasn't good.
It
was awesome.
Yeah, maybe I'm still like influenced by that year.
Oh, so you're saying you felt like he should have been like lower number wise?
Yes. Yeah. I thought he should have been like higher up on the list.
I'm just seeing like maybe am I losing my mind? 726 yards, 7 touchdowns. I mean, he wasn't bad. I shouldn't say he sucked. He didn't suck, but he was disappointing compared to what he did as a rookie. Because as a rookie, he was unbelievable. Right. And last year he was good. He was fine.
Mm-hmm. I like Sam Laporta. I think that he is a very good tight end, but I'm curious to see how much of it was Ben Johnson in terms of that offense. Now, number 93, this is the last one that we have, obviously, at the time of recording this podcast, is Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey coming in at number 93. And
he's basically the equivalent of Sam Laporta, apparently.
Yeah. And Levante David, who is 73 years old.
Look, we talked about this list on the last show.
We did.
Okay. This is why this list sucks.
It almost makes us hypocritical to talk about it right now, but like, look, nothing's going on. But
yeah, what do you want us to do? It is with Ragnow having retired, Frank Ragnow having retired from the Lions.
Yeah.
It is inarguable that Humphrey's the best center in football. Like, it's not even Kelsey was obviously kind of the standard, right? And then he retired a couple of years back. Then it was and then like Humphrey and Ragnow are kind of like, okay, co top of the mark. With Ragnow having retired, I don't even, other than Humphrey, who would even be in there? Like, Juergens is good for Philly for sure.
Yeah, but
but he's not Creed Humphrey. Like, I don't. Right. I'm sure there's Ryan Kelly was really good in Indy for a while, but he's not that level of center. He's not that level of player. I mean, but I got to tell you, like, you're really reaching if you want to sit there and compare somebody to Creed Humphrey. And if you don't believe me, go ask Brett Veach, who gave him a contract that was like $20 million over what anybody else made. He's like, it's fine. We're not even going to argue about it. That guy being 93 is objectively hilarious. Like, I'm not saying I get he's a center. I get it. I'm not saying he should be a top 20 player. He should be in top 50. Yeah. If you put him 42nd or fine, whatever. No problem. Okay. That's like saying Chris Jones should rank 75th because he's not an edge rusher. Like, well, he's interior. So I don't give a shit what he is. He's dominant. And then that also begs the question, is Trey Smith not on this list?
That's really interesting. Because
Trey Smith, God bless him, is not better than Creed Humphrey is.
I agree. Yes.
He's great, but he's not better than Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, that I think it's a very interesting question to bring up of who else on the Chiefs is going to be on this list.
Wanye Morris? They're going to keep Wanye off?
Just missed it. He probably just missed it.
How much time would you need to collect yourself if Jawan Taylor's like 88th?
A lot of time. I would need a lot of time to collect myself.
Put him on.
So I don't think you can put another interior offensive lineman over Creed Humphrey. Like, if there's another interior, like I'm even talking about guards too. Like, I don't think that you can put another. I think Creed Humphrey is the best interior offensive lineman in the NFL. If I see another one ahead of him, I'm gonna be a little questionable about this.
Let's work at it from this angle for a minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna pose a question to you, then I'll take it myself.
All right.
If you had to rank the best players on the 2025 Chiefs, where would you rank Creed Humphrey?
Best, not most important.
Yeah, because you could argue that there are guys who, you could say Nick Bolton's more important, but I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, no, 100%.
I didn't know you'd argue that, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, like if you had to argue that, hey, I had to rank out the 53 guys on the roster,
right?
And I'm ranking it best players. Mm-hmm. We all know Mahomes would be one. No one's arguing that. After Mahomes, how would you rank out the list? Like, where would Humphrey be?
Man, I think you can have a real argument to have him at 2, but Chris Jones is probably going to have a good conversation for that. The only reason that, like, I think is a good argument for Creed is because of his age. Like, he's still fairly young when it comes down to it. Chris, is on kind of the back half of his career. That's not like a slight to Chris at all. Still a phenomenal football player. Right. Same thing with Travis. Like, Travis last year on his contract, right? Like, he even says, like, hey, I don't know what next year is going to be. I think everyone kind of anticipates this to be the last year for Travis. The last taste we have of Travis was not a great taste. But I think you could argue, mean, pure talent-wise, he's the second best player on this team.
You could listen. You could certainly argue he's 2. I think the lowest you could argue him is 4th.
Yeah.
The lowest you could argue, Mahomes 1, and then you're talking Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie.
Trent's, yeah.
Like, I would probably argue McDuffie above Creed only because he's so versatile. Yeah. And what he does is so impactful. Not that Creed is incredibly impactful, but I'd argue McDuffie. The point I'm making is this. Let's live in a world where he's 4th behind those 2 guys and Mahomes. Those are the only 4 guys that are making the list for the Chiefs on this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, because I love Travis Kelce. Let's be real here. Travis Kelce's not better than Creed Humphrey at this point in his career. He's not.
Right.
I don't know what they're going to do with Rashee Rice because he got hurt. But like, you're going to tell me that guy's not one of the top 100 players in the NFL?
Probably they're not. He's probably not on the list. Truthfully.
He's probably not on the list. Like,
yeah.
Shout out to Drake London. I mean, it's just like,
makes it so much worse.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, we're not going to have like the top 100. So is George Karlaftis not better than like Leonard Williams? I mean, you want to argue, no, that's fine. But I would argue like it's certainly a conversation. My point is just that, again, I don't know. So if you're having Creed Humphrey there, that feels, and you know, to be fair to Leonard Williams, he had 11 sacks last year. He fine.
He did have a good year. Yeah.
I mean, for the previous 3 years, he'd done virtually nothing, but that's fine. Like, you want to throw him in there, that's fine. Although I'll tell you right now, Karlaftis in the regular season had a better year than Josh Sweat did. And also actually kind of also in the playoffs quietly. But in any event, I just think so. Okay, you have 4 guys in the team. Because if you were asking me top of the dome, Chiefs players, no order in particular, making the top 100. Wanye? No. So Mahomes, Wanye catches a brutal straight.
Just some absolute daggers.
I swear. But to me, I'm having Mahomes, of course. I would still have Kelce in the top 100 players in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, if Laporte is making it, Kelce had a better year than him last year. Like,
yeah,
I'd still have Kelce, Chris Jones, McDuffie, Humphrey. That's 5. And then I think you get into like the arguable territory. Like, would Nick Bolton make it? Maybe. Would Karlaftis make it? Maybe. Rashee Rice, if he was healthy, would 1,000% make it. I just, you know, I understand it. Like, I get it. But I'm sorry. Like, if Drake London's making the list, I'm sorry. Rashee Rice is making the list.
Right.
Worthy, not yet. But then, like, Trey Smith, like, he would make my list. If the top 100 players in the NFL, yeah, he'd be on the list. I mean, I think I would at least have 6 guys. I don't know that I'd go more than that. I think that's, like, if Creed Humphrey is a 93, they're going to have a real tough time, you know, getting higher than that, which I don't know that anybody should really care based on this list. But, yeah, it's food for thought.
No, this list is off to a hot start, I will say. Like, it is off to a insane start. I don't believe I'm double checking this real quick before I do have a stat that I want to read that NFL Plus put out because they're like, oh, Creed Humphrey was good, and then it kind of set me off. Yeah, Creed Humphrey was not ranked last year. So he comes into the top 100 list at 93 as a. Oh, Sable Porter fell 14 spots. Whoa. But this stat right here, hell of a thunder. I was
gonna say, yeah, that lights are flickering. We're getting. The nice thing about this is this thing's gonna be over in about 10 minutes. But man, is it gonna pour for about 10 minutes? You know, some assholes walking around the lake right now, diving under a car.
It's getting after it out there.
Yeah.
Go. But this stat from NFL Plus, they tweeted out, getting by Creed Humphrey is not easy, which is true. The stat, Humphrey did not allow a quick pressure under 2.5 seconds across 653 pass blocking snaps in 2024. That is the most pass blocking snaps without allowing a quick pressure by any offensive lineman. Any offensive lineman. And I said, Oh, yeah. So let's make him the 93rd best player in the National Football League because that makes a whole lot of sense. He's got something that no other offensive lineman does. Yeah, he's the 93rd best player. But then again, like, I'm gonna say this, and maybe this is our last thought. Like, I don't know why I still spend energy on this list. I know, like, we know that this list doesn't mean shit, right? Like, we know that we talked about it, and it's still, I see it, and I'm just like, that fucking sucks. And it still pisses me off. I don't understand. I don't get it. Because I know in my head that I'm like, this doesn't matter. This, like, the players don't even take this that seriously. Why do I care about it?
Correct. There's
And
going to
then
be a
I
mind,
get pissed off.
Jalen Ramsey's going to be like 22 on the list.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
the players are just like, I don't know. Who the hell plays for our team? Oh, Jalen Ramsey. Okay, sure. Throw him in there. You know, like the union rep on the team's getting a lot of votes.
Yep.
You know, it's like, what the hell? I look forward to I'm serious. When Mahomes is like 18th on this list.
Oh, he's going to be.
I know.
Yeah.
That I look acutely for. When it's like, well, he's the 7th quarterback on the list. Like, at that point, if you do the numbers and Mahomes is like 18th, if you're the NFL, do you just rig it? And you're like, nah, he's 4th. Because we can't do this. Or are you like, this is gold. We're going to piss off everybody and put him 18th, right? Like, probably that. But, man, what a stupid, ridiculous waste of time this entire project is. And the shame of it is, it could really be interesting, but it's so stupid because they're like, listen, vote for 20 guys. They can be your teammates. We don't give a shit. Great. Thanks, guys. Great.
Yeah. So here we are now complaining on a podcast on July 4th about it. So, look, it works.
The world, by the way, might be ending behind me.
I love the progression of how your background has gone. If people don't watch this on YouTube, they have to go to YouTube and see this.
So hard.
It went from
there's a door next to me. It has been blown open. It's unbelievable. I can't tell if it's hailing or if it's just gale force winds with rain. Like the tree.
Again, if you're not watching this podcast on YouTube, I think this is one I know I like to tell people to watch the podcast, listen to the podcast however they want to, but I think this is one that you're gonna have to watch on YouTube because Matt, welcome back. People on the audio side won't be able to tell, but like the way that everything just happened as we were talking about how it was absolutely dumpstering you right now.
Yes.
And then you freeze and drop out, and now you're back. Thank you for coming.
All the power went out for about 5 seconds. And then I got up and was like, all right, well, the Wi-Fi's going to have to reconnect. I turned around to shut the door that flew open during the storm. And I looked down. There's a mound of hail on the deck. And the lake's about 30 feet behind me, and I can't see it. So,
awesome. Great.
Wind is slowed down. But, yeah, this is like a Midwestern storm. Normally out east, you don't really get that. You get like a downpour for 10 minutes, but usually not hail, usually not high winds. But I guess God saw Creed Humphries' ranking and was like, you know what? Fuck this. This is how I feel.
As he should be. I mean, I think that is an affront to God. Putting Creed Humphrey at 93 is an affront to God.
Oh, know that the NFL Network has turned against the Lord with his rating. I look forward to me taking it way too seriously and be like, But it's not good. It's not good. So we'll see. We'll see if we keep signal here for Bozo and Beef of the Week and all the rest of it.
That's true. We do have we have a loaded back half of the show. Let's go ahead and take a break, and then when we get back on the other side, we have a few quick hitters to hit. Not a whole lot to get to, but just a couple things I want to have some comments on. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into quick hitters. We'll have Beef of the Week. We'll have Bozo of the Week. Thank you guys, everyone, for your submissions. We got a ton to pick from, so we appreciate those. That'll always be a link in the description. Go check that out. I
may be doing that segment from a boat. But,
yeah, you might have to build an ark. Speaking of God, you might need to build an ark to fit two of every
jump
animal.
In the old rowboat and get the Minn Kota fired up. We'll see what happens.
Oh god!
Side just going off into the distance.
We'll wrap up with power rankings coming up right after this. Chiefs.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your number one source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to, and I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust, and I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible, and they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Folks, there's nothing that beats relaxing on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And there's no simpler way to get in on the action than by downloading the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for two or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Welcome back into That Football Show here on KC Sports Network. Matt Verderame and Tucker Franklin hanging out with you on your 4th of July. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And hey, if you want to hang out with at least me, you can hang out with me at the 4th annual KCSN Foundation Golf Tournament, Monday, August 18th at Creekmore Golf Course in Raymore, Missouri. You can go check that out. GiveButter.com/KCSN Golf. Got spots for a few more teams left, so go ahead, get those teams in. Go to GiveButter.com/KCSN Golf. All the information's there. If you're interested, also link in the description as well. It'll be all the way in the description through basically until we get sold out. We'll have that link in the description as well. But Matt, time for some quick hitters before we get out of here on a weekend. Are you ready for these?
I'm ready, and anyone who's watching this is wondering why the background's changed 7 times in the last 5 minutes, depending on how we edited this. But yes, we have come through the darkness, and we're ready for quick hitters.
Yeah, there's a fun backstory we might tell. Not on this podcast. Let's. You know what? I think we should save the backstory for like Wednesday's podcast. I think that'll be a fun story to tell, like Wednesday's podcast.
Sure, I like it. Keep people guessing.
Yeah, we'll tease them with there. All right, first thing on the quick hitters, Dolphins. Whew, not done. They were not done wheeling and dealing.
They should have been. They should have been done. No, they're still involved.
Certainly should have been. I made a joke tweet, a meme, as some would call it, about Roger Goodell. I had a picture of Roger Goodell on the phone, and I said, Roger Goodell calling the Dolphins to telling them to make the most meaningless trades possible to stay in the news while the NBA free agency kind of goes on. Right. There's nothing happening, so Dolphins need to make a trade to acquire tight end Darren Waller for a 2026 6th-round pick. And you might be thinking, Tucker, Darren Waller, man, I don't really remember his numbers last year. He's with the Giants, maybe, but like I don't really remember him playing. He didn't. He was retired.
Yeah.
He had to retire after he put out that song.
Yeah, he did. You know, I wonder, to your point, if Goodell saw like DeAndre Ayton going to the Lakers and Goodell was like, fuck this. Hey, Chris Greer, make a trade. we're not letting them win anything. They're not getting Christmas. They get nothing. You know, like it's like I wonder if at some point the NFL draft is a 1 month long event but can just eclipse the entire NBA playoffs.
At least the NBA draft or the NFL draft hasn't figured out, and they get the right hats on the guys. God damn,
the NBA draft is the worst run thing in sports, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right,
Yeah,
so Darren Waller, as you mentioned, was retired last year. The last 3 years, he's basically played like he's retired. So in 2020, he was a Pro Bowler for the Raiders, well deserved. Then in 2021, which by the way was 5 years ago now, played 11 games, had 665 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2022 played 9 games, had 388 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then I almost said last year, 2 years ago, 2023, the last year he played with the Giants, first and only year he played with the Giants. 11 games started, 12 games total, 552 catches and a touchdown. He is going to be 33 years old in September. And here's what I don't understand about this. If you're the Dolphins, either accept the fact you're not good and just start trading everybody, i.e. Tyreek Hill and company. Or if you're going to not accept the fact you're not good, go call up Atlanta, who is basically begging to give away Kyle Pitts, and give him a I don't know, third, fourth round pick.
Right.
Kyle Pitts, make it a conditional. I don't know, be like it's a fourth, and if he has 1,000 yards, it's a third. I don't understand what the point of this is. Are you that bad at tight end that you're like, listen, Darren Waller's an upgrade, boys. We got to get him in here. Yikes. So, and the Giants must have just been like, this is incredible. This guy was retired and a 6th round pick fell in our laps. Joe Shane probably got on the phone with HBO's Hard Knocks. Was like, hey, come back. I'm going to look good this time. Roll cameras, and then we'll have Greer call back. I don't know, man.
So the official terms of that deal is Waller and a 2027 conditional 7th round pick to the Dolphins for a 2026 6th rounder.
It's I want to know, were the Dolphins not going to do that without the conditional 7th rounder 2 years down the road? If Shane had just been like, you know what, go to hell. No. I feel like the Dolphins will be, all right.
Yeah.
We
can make it a 5th.
Yeah, right. We'll make it better for you.
Yeah.
Where Shane must be on the phone, can you believe this shit? They're going to give us a pick? I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't know what.
Yeah.
There were rumors that the Eagles were going to cut Goddard this offseason.
Yeah.
Call the Eagles. Hell, I'm not saying they would have done this. I don't think the Chiefs would have done this. But call the Chiefs and be like, what do you want for Noah Gray? No, I don't think the Chiefs would trade Noah Gray unless they really felt like they were getting immense value here. But who knows?
Right.
Maybe the Chiefs love Jared Wiley. Maybe this kid Brennan still comes in from Clemson. They're like, yeah, shit. It just feels like the Dolphins are like, listen, it's a holiday weekend. Let's get the hell out of here. What trade can we make that we know we can consummate in under 90 seconds? And somebody was like, Waller, he's under contract. And they were like, all right, let's do that. That sounds great. I don't know, man. Good for he's a good story and all that. And
yeah.
But man,
yeah. I mean, it just, there's no explanation. It just continues the theme of what we said on Wednesday's podcast of just what are they doing? It doesn't make any sense. But what also doesn't make any sense is the Cleveland Browns getting a dome stadium. Game's gone. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine signed a 2-year, $60 billion operating budget that flattens the state income tax and sets aside $600 million in unclaimed funds for a new Cleveland Browns stadium. And the renderings came out, and they want to build a dome in Cleveland. They will be the only team in the AFC North with a domed stadium, and it's absolutely atrocious. And I think our feelings are pretty well known on dome stadiums, but to do it in a division like the AFC North is just disgrace.
I don't. The next person, by the way, because I tweeted out what a disgrace it says, and the next person who says to me, "Well, financially, yeah, I get it. Thanks, man. I understand that it makes financial sense to put a dome on a building in bad weather so you can monetize." Here's my argument for this: you're rich as hell. How much more money do you need? My God, if you're the Haslams,
right?
Okay. buy a percentage of the Cavs or something and then just benefit off that building. Like the idea that, well, geez, I mean, we could have a monster truck rally now in January. Like what? I mean, sure, because you're not gonna have playoff games there, so you could have it in January.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the Browns putting a dome on their stadium is so embarrassing for so many reasons. And I hope the first time that team finally hosts a playoff game again, which will probably be in about 30 years from now, I hope they play a team like Miami, which might be coming out of its 30-year rebuilding cycle. And I hope the Dolphins smoke the crap out of them in that building. And it's like 4 degrees outside.
Uh-huh.
You know what? It's an advantage. It is an advantage. Players in cold weather cities will flat out tell you it's an advantage.
Oh, yeah.
They sell their souls for this crap because the ownership's like, well, we could just make some more money off of it. And then the state legislatures are like, well, geez, now we can get Beyonce to come to Cleveland. Like, just stop. You make more money than God, and now you got to do this crap. I hate it. Hate everything about it. If the Chiefs build the dome, I'm going to rip them to kingdom come. Like, you're fine. You make more money than you know what to do with all of you. The state government, all these people. God knows the ownership. I don't think Haslam's going home and searching under the couch cushions for Burger King money. He's all right. So, yeah, I hate it, man. And the NFC North, everybody already mocks the Browns. They should do it even worse now.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it is one of those things where it's just like it's a big bummer. And I loved people saying like, this will give Cleveland a shot to host a Super Bowl. You think the NFL wants to go to Cleveland in February?
Like,
no shot.
That's the thing too, by the way. Everybody just assumes like we don't put a dome on it. Like guys,
yeah.
There's SoFi, there's Las Vegas, there's New Orleans. There's Miami and Tampa, okay? Just to name a few. Phoenix is another one. They're not in any rush to go play a Super Bowl in Cleveland. I promise you. And look, I am not denigrating Kansas City in any way. Kansas City is not on the top of the list to host a Super Bowl. They're not.
Agree. I agree.
It's nothing against Kansas City. I love Kansas City, but the reality is it is a smaller market. It is cold weather. It is not built like a convention city. It is not easy. Look, for anyone who's never been to a Super Bowl, I totally understand why you may not understand the scope of this. Getting the Super Bowl is not about the game. It's about the week. And putting a Super Bowl in a city is not simple. It's not. Detroit had one Super Bowl. They'll probably never have it again. Minnesota's had 2 in about 35 years. Okay? Like, it is really difficult to do that. It's real. I'm not saying they never get one, but it's not like the NFL is not going to sit there and go, damn, Cleveland built a dome stadium? Well, better get a Super Bowl there then. Like, the Bills, shout out to the Bills, which is going to piss off a lot of people on this. They got a new stadium coming, and they look, weather-wise, my God, they've got every reason to be like, we're putting a dome on this thing, and they didn't do it.
Right.
They put a roof over the fans, but the field is uncovered. And I give them credit for that. Like, they could have sat there and we'll get a Super Bowl. No, you won't. You're Buffalo. Like, nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
So the Browns, what a clown show. It's the first time that something that smells as bad as the Browns football has been over the last years. Is somebody, I was like, let's enclose that. Let's put it, let's make sure we keep that ambiance in.
Yeah.
Great. Can't wait.
Is that the second worst contract that's come to Cleveland in the last few years?
First one is unimpeachable and uncuttable and untradeable.
You can't do a whole lot with that contract, truthfully.
Oh, you cannot. I wonder if he sits there and is like, can you believe they gave me this contract?
You have to. Felice of the century, right? Like, he's on the All Finesse team. Has to be.
On it. He's the logo of it. Oh, my God. $230 million guaranteed. And they gave up 3 first-round picks. Oh, what a disgrace. What an abject disgrace.
It is. Before we totally move on from stadium stuff, one of the cities I do think is pretty well versed in hosting events is Indianapolis. The last time Indianapolis had a Super Bowl, I believe, 2012?
It's January 2012, 2011 season. Yep,
2011 season. And Giants beat the
Pats.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Yes, Giants beat the
Super Bowl
Patriots.
46. Giants
Yep.
beat them. Yep.
So like, and I
And
think
that city's built for conventions.
100%. And like, they don't go back. They're not on the future slate. Like, it's just
Indianapolis. It's a fine city, but like,
it's February in Indianapolis.
and again, you're talking about the Super Bowl. It is the biggest North American event there is. Like,
Yes.
they're right or wrong, they're putting it in the biggest cities with the best weather, because you also got to keep in mind here, they're selling this to their corporate sponsors too.
Mhm.
This is all about where do those people want to be? And gotta love the Midwest. I live in the Midwest, but like, I'm realistic about it.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta tell you, that's one thing I always laugh with the Bears. I'm like, we get a Dome Stadium out in Arlington Heights. We got Chicago. It's like, yeah, that's great. It's still fucking freezing.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to go to Chicago in January and February. Nobody. Like Chicago, I will defend Chicago forever. It's great. No one in the world wants to go down there. People in Chicago don't want to go outside in January and February. You think the NFL is like, look, awesome. Let's go to Arlington Heights. Can't wait. No, it's not. No.
Next bit of news I have here is not a very fun one. I don't expect you to have an opinion on it, but it is more of just me sharing and reporting facts so people can be up to date with what's going on in the football world. This is coming from the Associated Press. Bills first-round pick Maxwell Harrison is accused of a sexual assault in a lawsuit. This is from a lawsuit of sexually assaulting a woman in 2021 at the University of Kentucky. The lawsuit was filed on Tuesday in federal court in Kentucky by a woman who claims Harrison entered her dorm room without being invited, ignored her when she said she didn't want to have interactions, forcibly removed her bottoms, and assaulted her. The Associated Press does not typically name alleged victims of sexual assault, as they don't need to. Text seeking comment Wednesday were sent to agents for Harrison, but they were not returned. The Bills had no comment and referred statements made by general manager Brandon Beane in April during the draft. Now, this wasn't also a surprise. This was, I think, something that teams knew about Maxwell Harrison, and he did kind of slide down a little bit in the drafts where people anticipated for him to go. But this is now into federal court for people to be aware of. That's the happenings and the latest of his situation.
Yeah, obviously not good. We'll see what comes of it. But yeah, I mean, if you're the Bills, you were aware that there was a situation in the background here. Correct. It has now come to the foreground, and we will see. But yeah, obviously, pretty ugly allegations. And if any of all of it is true, for anyone who may be wondering, because you're like, well, it happened, if it did happen, it happened when he was in college. That is still applicable to being suspended in the NFL.
Yes.
So that is, if you're wondering, like, well, could the NFL? Yes, the NFL can still. If the NFL felt like he should be suspended, they can do that. So we'll see how we'll see how it goes. Monitor it, but yes, not good news for the Bills. Also, in a bit of legal news, I don't know if it's on the list, but Rashee Rice, there is now a court date set in January, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's a Tuesday after the divisional round.
It is the Tuesday after the division round. It is also for his civil case, not for his criminal case.
I was just going to say that. So that is much different than a criminal case. Civil is about damages. It is about finances, essentially.
Yes.
Related to his actions. Whereas obviously a criminal case is more about law and what potentially could come of that. That also, listen, those dates get moved all the time. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of flexibility in that kind of stuff. I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer. I do know that. But that is a civil date. What that would also indicate is that you're not going to be seeing a trial anytime soon for the criminal stuff.
Right. And
if there's not any criminal stuff going on, it looks like he is not going to be suspended this year. So it would appear from a football perspective that he is going to have the full breadth of the season in front of him. And then the civil trial, while there's a date set in January, we'll see what happens there in terms of whether or not that date actually sticks. But that date was set. Multiple outlets reported it for mid-January.
Yep. I don't think, as you mentioned, in terms of suspension, I don't know how much of a precedent there is set based off of like just civil cases. I do think that there's probably been some suspensions done based off of civil cases, but I don't know off the top of my head. That would be some more deep research into the NFL suspension policies. But what we know about the NFL suspension policies is they are not consistent.
Correct. And look, this is going to be a weird one with Rice in the sense that I'm not going to speak too much on it because there's just a lot that's unknown. I will say this, though. This has been going on now literally for years.
Yeah.
And one thing I know about the NFL, having covered the sport and covering it now, the NFL is not exactly looking to have a negative headline.
Mm-hmm.
The longer this goes on, the more I wonder, is the NFL just going to give him a quicker suspension to just, hey, look, it's done. It was handled. Oh, it was years ago. And, if he had been suspended the season that it had happened right beforehand, so last year,
yeah,
I think it would have been more than it's going to be down the line. Unless, of course, listen, obviously, if he's found guilty of 8 felonies, then it's a different story. But
correct.
A lot of times these things end up getting adjudicated. We'll see. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. The point is, the further and further and further we get away from what happened, the more I tend to think if the NFL, let's put it this way, if the NFL can kind of mitigate the attention around that and just keep things moving, I don't think they can get away from not suspending him because teams in the league will go nuts.
Right.
But I do think maybe like where before it might have been like, hey, he's got to get a half a season. He's got to get 6 games, whatever. You wonder now, is it going to be like, hey, like here's 2, right. Keep it moving. Again, it's just a thought because of how long this is dragging out.
It's also really strange because we saw his alleged crime take place on video.
On video, yeah, everybody in the world saw it. So.
Yeah. And that there's still no legal charges pressed against him currently. Like, there's been no charges filed against him.
It's very,
very weird.
It's gone on forever and ever and ever. I mean, there was 8 felonies that have been discussed, and yet we're sitting here and we're a year and a half out
now. Yeah.
And nothing.
Crazy. Last bit of quick hitter news I have here. The Steelers announced on Thursday they have signed general manager Omar Khan to a new 3-year contract, ensuring that he will stay the GM in Steel City through at least the 2028 campaign. Look, I guess that's what making a couple mediocre trades and signing an aging quarterback will do to you. More years.
I'm Omar Khan. I'm like, great. I got a couple more years to find a quarterback because I've got job security. So we can run this bad boy back, see what happens. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's obviously made some good moves. They've drafted some good players. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to stay there, but yeah, I mean, he certainly hasn't done anything that's put them over the hump.
Yeah.
But the Steelers are about continuity. They have been for a long time. And for anyone who doesn't know this, one of the most mind-blowing stats in the NFL, since 1969, Steelers have had 3 head coaches.
Insane.
3 coaches. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. I can't even imagine. You know how many coaches the Browns have had since then?
Good Lord.
They could fill up that whole crap stadium they're about to build.
They've had 3 in a season before.
Oh, my God. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, there have been teams, really, that have had 4 coaches in the last, 4 years.
Yeah.
And here we are, like the Steelers. So the Steelers are very big on, hey, we are going to stay the course. Well, that's what they're doing.
He's been with the Steelers since 2001, and his organization has been he's been the GM since 2022.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got plenty of got three more years for him as they go into a year where, look, they're probably going to win 8 or 9 games, and I'm not sure if that's
real good about it.
Yeah, I don't know if that floor, that ceiling was raised even a little bit.
By the way, before we get into the best part of the show,
yes.
I don't know if you're aware, but did you see a pitcher from the Cleveland Guardians is being investigated for gambling?
I did see that.
And I guess from what I was reading, as my power was going in and out nonstop, so forgive me if I'm a little off base here. What I was reading was like, I guess they were saying that he was throwing pitches at the beginning of the 3rd inning to basically the first pitch was a ball, and that was a signal. And if you look back, some of the pitches are hilarious.
Yeah.
One of the pitches went 40 feet. He just threw the ball straight into the ground. So.
Oh my gosh.
Not great. Not great. I don't know what is. I'll tell you what though, man. We all laugh and rightfully so, I guess, because what else are you going to do other than just say it's ridiculous and it's stupid and so on and so forth. But I got to tell you, and Luis Ortiz, by the way, name of the pitcher.
Yes.
So here. So here. So this is Jeff Passan tweeted out, in a typical MLB season, more than 700,000 pitches are thrown. 2 from Luis Ortiz had unusual gambling action on them, prompting an alert sent out in an investigation by Major League Baseball. From our story, here are the details on the pitches. And so he tweeted out a screenshot as well. And he said, the alert, according to sources who reviewed it, referenced action on Ortiz's first pitches in select innings to be a ball or a hit batsman in 2 games. June 15th against the Seattle Mariners and June 27th against the St. Louis Cardinals. In the bottom of the second inning against the Mariners and the top of the third inning against the Cardinals, Ortiz threw a first pitch slider that was well outside the strike zone. The alert on Ortiz's first pitches flagged bets in Ohio, New York, and New Jersey. Betting on the result of first pitches is offered by some sports books, with such wagers commonly referred to as micro bets. Let me be the first to say, I do not know whether Luis Ortiz is guilty or not. If he is, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Yeah. And I will also add on to this. Listen, we're all getting like this guy, Malik Beasley, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you guys right now, it's coming. There is going to be, at some point in the next 5 years, a massive, massive gambling scandal in sports.
Oh, I'm sure.
Some guy who really has a name is going to throw a game. Something's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're going to have, some quarterback's going to, whale 3 interceptions to hit a prop bet or something. It's going to happen. It's just, human nature tells you it's going to happen. And you know what? The reason I say that, I don't want to hear any of these teams cry about it or any of these leagues cry about it because they're so unbelievably in bed with these companies. Yep. And look, I got nothing against the DraftKings and the FanDuels and the underdogs of the world. Hey, that's fine. It's legal. Go nuts, right? I don't have any problem with anybody gambling. That's fine. Other than you're not supposed to be gambling like a professional baseball player.
Right.
But when you invited that element into the tent, well, guess what was going to happen? And if you don't think these leagues knew that, you're out of your mind. They absolutely knew. This is why, by the way, for the longest time, there was not an NFL team in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. They would not do it. Well, no, none of the sports leagues would. None of it wanted to be in it.
And then Vegas got a hockey team.
Yep.
And then the NFL was like, oh my God, really? And just the Raiders were just whipped out of Oakland instantaneously and put in Vegas. Now that the A's, God only knows, we'll see. But it's the best bet on the A's is bet against them.
Right.
Which that they don't need a city for that. But it's true. No, I remember going to the Super Bowl and going to Media Row, okay, as it is now referred to.
I forgot about that.
When you would go, and the biggest setups there were company, CBS Sports, Fox, like the main broadcast partners, a couple big outlets like an ESPN and Yahoo. I'll tell you right now, you walk in there now, not even close. The biggest FanDuel, DraftKings, but the money's limitless. And I got to tell you, because the money's limitless, these leagues, if it hits the fan, you have a problem because they're not going to want to pull out of those deals.
Yeah.
Those companies, nothing wrong with it. They're making money. That's fine. It's the American dream, man. But these sports leagues have just allowed for anarchy to be on the doorstep. And it's coming. We're allowed Luis Ortiz, whatever, fine. Maybe if he did it, he was throwing some pitches. You're absolutely going to have some quarterback in a playoff game one of these days who's like, you know what I can make? $8 million throwing 3 picks. Oops.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Download DraftKings and code KCSN. You can get it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not doing anything wrong.
That's true. No, look, they pay us.
If you're on the Chiefs listening to that, Reed, maybe don't.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're on the Chiefs listening to this podcast, what are you doing? Turn it off.
Also, what is wrong with you?
Stop.
Yeah. If you're sitting at the house wanting to make the game a little more interesting, hell yeah.
Oh, fine. Yeah. No, I do think also this isn't like a new thing, right? Like throwing games was happening when it was illegal, that's the thing too with legalized sports gambling. It's going to happen regardless. People are still going to bet on sports if it's legal or if it's not, so it's going to happen. Obviously the Jonte Porter, right? Jonte Porter was another one that did it. Mizzou made shout out. But
that's what drove him to it.
Probably, dude. Damn. Unnecessary shot.
He was doing fine. He went to Mizzou. He's like, I can't anymore.
Mizzou and Wanya Morris taking unnecessary shots so far this podcast.
Wanya Morris.
Or Wanya. All right, that's gonna do it for quick hitters. That's all the quick hitter stuff I had. We could talk about Johnny Smith saying he's glad that he's somewhere he's wanted, which seems a bit dramatic.
800 yards last year.
Yeah, I got to go where I am appreciated, is what he said.
Okay,
all right,
cool,
buddy.
Great.
Cool.
Congratulations, sir.
Good for you. We'll do. Let's see. Hang on. What do we have here? Beef or Bozo of the week. Okay, we've got our Beef and Bozo picked out. What do you want to do first, Matt? Beef or Bozo?
Let's go beef.
All right. Let's go Beef of the week here. This one is from Brandon Finn. Brandon, thank you for your submission. I will say, did not put where you're from, so get a knock on following instructions.
It's not where you say you're from Buffalo if you don't say where you're from.
Yeah, we're gonna just call him from Brandon from Buffalo. His beef is with the neighbor that mows right after you, no matter when they last mowed. I have a neighbor who will mow right after me, no matter what. They've mowed twice in a day just to have a shorter lawn. Is this a war crime, Matt?
Yes, it is a war crime.
It's a declaration of war for sure.
So, Brandon, here would be my suggestion to you. Wait till twilight to mow. And then do it. Yeah, he's going to get up at the crack of dawn to do it the next day. I understand that. So maybe have some noise cancelers on or something. But here's the flip side of that. It's going to drive him fucking nuts all night.
It will.
He's going to be sitting. He's got to go to bed knowing his grass is just that much longer. And he knows he's the joke of the neighborhood now. And if you see him when he's outside in your mowing, wave to him. Just give him the old wave. Let him know, hey, how you doing? I'll tell you, or listen. The other thing too is you could scream at him and mock him. I'm actually at they've passed now, but my grandparents' lake house. I got to tell you, there was a guy 2 houses over. He'd mow that. The lawn's the size of a postage stamp. Guy'd be out there every 30 minutes mowing the lawn. My grandfather, nicest guy in the world, God rest his soul, she would just scream at him. How many times are you going to mow that goddamn thing? I would just scream. And I got to tell you, sometimes that worked. Sometimes he took the mower and went inside. So, maybe give him some of that action, depending on your personality, if you got that in you, True. But yeah, my suggestion would be wait until, if it's a summer, wait till if your lawn, let's say your lawn takes an hour, wait till 8:00 at night.
Oh, yeah.
And then mow it. And also, when you're mowing it, drop the level of the blade down as far as it'll go. You should be cutting that grass so that it's almost like you could go out. It's a putting green.
Right.
Okay?
Scalping it. Uh-huh.
Yes. And go out there. So that when he's going to go out there, not only does he have to wait the whole night the next day, when he does it, he has to lower his blade so low that he now has a dirt infield.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because he has chopped up the grass. So it's really, really send him a message.
I do like that. I do like that solution to the problem. But yes, it is a war crime. It is a declaration of war. That is that is some good advice there. So that is Beef of the Week. Forgot the cow sound effect at first, but there it.
We're working on the case.
There it is. Yeah. Look, this is new. We
got, by the way, to everybody who sent in Beef of the Week. And Bozo of the Week, which we're, of course, going to get to here momentarily. But thank you to everybody. The responses were also very good for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
And quite overwhelming. I thought, okay, we'll get 4 or 5 submissions. No. Into the 20s. So shout out. Don't be discouraged if we didn't pick your Beef or Bozo of the Week. Keep sending them in. Believe me, you'll eventually you'll win. But yeah, Brandon, don't let that guy, don't let him bully you like that. Don't take that from him. Yeah. I'll tell you what else too. You really, and one other way to really piss people like that off. I don't know if you have a fence between the two of you. So if you do, this is a null and void point. But if you don't, there's an imaginary line of where you stop mowing and he starts. Go over it by 1 mower length. Yeah. Start claiming territory. Just start going a little bit more. I know it adds work to your plate, but it'll annoy him. Just start going a little bit more, and every week, just take, and then once you do it, the whole length of the width of the lawnmower, you can't do that every week because it becomes too obvious. Right. Just start taking a quarter of a width of the lawnmower. So you just keep encroaching, and then after you've done that for a month and a half, it's completely obvious. Go back to where you were at the beginning. make him do it. Send him a message. Or there's just this long strip of grass and it's going to drive him nuts. So it's all about playing mind games with him.
It is.
Or it's about mind games, Brandon. Just take it to him. Good
There you
luck.
go.
Keep us updated.
There you go, Brandon. Thank you for your submission. All right, time for Bozo of the week. I'm going to hit the sound effect after I read Sam from Atlanta's. Shout out Sam for how much he wrote in here. I'm reading the whole thing.
Yes.
Reading the whole thing. We do appreciate the long responses as well. We do appreciate people who really get into it. Oh, yeah. This Sam, thank you. Also from Atlanta, not the only person from Atlanta we had submit stuff.
Multiple Atlanta submissions, yes.
Yeah, a lot of Atlanta people listen to the podcast, but here we go.
Good to know we have a strong base down in Buckhead. Good.
Got it locked down. It's the most popular Chiefs podcast in Atlanta.
Wait, what are we gonna do? Listen to shit about the Falcons? It's terrible.
Okay. Sam says I'd like to nominate Blaine at the Pickleball Rec Center for what he did during open play this morning. Blaine and his partner were playing against a couple that had included a nice gray-haired lady with rec specs and 2 knee braces. And on game point, Blaine smashed an overhead shot right at the old lady's face. She was able to block it with her forearm, but rather than apologize, as is custom, Blaine let out a massive "woo!" followed by a "let's go." I spent the rest of open session trying to find a way into a game against Blaine so I could spend the whole time trying to rip shots at Blaine's stupid face, but it never happened. So I'm hoping you guys, Verderame in particular, can internet shame him as a consolation prize. P.S. If Matt's ever in Atlanta and wants to get in a game, I'd be happy to show him some spots. Matt?
First off, Blaine, you're terrible. You suck.
I stink!
Yeah, Blaine's terrible.
That
Sam, thank you for the submission. And when the Super Bowl's there in 3 years, buddy, hit me up. I am serious. I'm dead serious. I'll absolutely do it. And we can team up and we can kick Blaine's ass. Let's
find Blaine. We'll dox him, and then we will.
3 years later, just tee off on him. Listen, obviously I play a lot of pickleball. Oh, yeah. There are a few things that annoy me more than when people do that to elderly women, even elderly men, like people who just clearly have no business being in the game like that.
Yeah.
For that guy, as I was going to call him a bozo, he is not only a bozo, he's bozo of the week. For that bozo to then celebrate that, first of all, his partner is as big of a bozo as he is. Because
True.
A, that dude's accepting that behavior, and B, he wasn't like, hey, what the hell's wrong with you? Right? So that's one thing. But I appreciate you, Sam, for being like, I spent the whole rest of the morning trying to beat that guy's ass. Good for you. Some people need that. Like, I will share, I can honestly say in the couple of years I played pickleball, like you always run into people who you're like, this guy's a fucking clown. But like the only time I ever ran into somebody like that, I had instant karmic justice. So I was luckier, I guess, than you in this regard. I had a guy, for reasons I will never understand. I was up in a game like 3-4-1. And I turned around to walk back to the baseline. So we're serving. And the guy picked the ball up and drilled me in the back with it. And he was playing with his girlfriend. And I was playing with my buddy. And I am not a fight. Like, I have maybe been in 3 fights my entire life. And they were all under the age of like 20 years old. And I turned around. And since I turned 20, it was the closest I've come to fighting somebody on the spot. Like, I was like, what is wrong with you, man? And like, he like didn't quite apologize, but also kind of backed up. And then his girlfriend was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. Right. She was super nice. The last point of the game, he popped the ball up, drilled him in the throat with it. And it was one of the best shots I've ever hit in my life. So I was trying to hit him in the face, in full disclosure. Right? I hit him right in the old gullet. And to this guy, as much as I hated him, to his undying credit, he came up to me 10 minutes later. He's like, bro, I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I was like, all right. Fair is fair, man. Shook hands and walked away. But that guy, Blaine, first of all, just the fact he's named Blaine, knew he's terrible. Yeah, and on top of that, to celebrate that guy's a full-on bozo. You get the spirit of bozo of the week. I absolutely hope he wears one in the dome here in the coming days. He really wears one in an embarrassing fashion. That guy, complete clown.
Keep us updated on this saga, Sam. You do sound like you
Let
are
us know if somebody gets it, and especially if you get them.
right. Yeah, it sounds like that you frequent this pickleball place. So if you see Sam, if you see Blaine again, keep us updated.
Yeah,
You know how
let
to
us
reach
know.
us now.
And
But,
again, keep in touch because in 3 years, if you're still playing against Blaine, we'll get together. And I'm more than happy to put 235 pounds behind a spike.
and we will beat Blaine up in the parking lot.
That's right. We won't even play a game. We'll just find them outside.
Just jump him.
Yeah. But this is for that lady 3 years back. You won't see that coming. Hey,
No, he will not. That's how we gain our advantage. He will not see it coming.
All
At the
about
different
being
time.
patient.
Right. But Blaine, you get the sound effect this week for Bozo of the Week.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
There it is. Bozo of the Week, Beef of the Week. Make sure to get those submissions in. Links in the description. It's also pinned. It's not pinned, but it's my link in bio on Twitter as well. So if you go there, you can find it.
I'll be retweeting it. Let's get it going.
Yep. So I'll tweet it out again as we get going. And as we mentioned, we will probably restructure the show. So because we're about to do power rankings, but to have power rankings be for the week and Bozo of the Week.
Before we do though, real quick,
lay it on me.
We had 2 different people who said,
oh yes, no, you have to, yes,
because I promised I'd get to this.
Yes.
So I had 2 different people on Twitter who were like, "How do I submit the Verderame the Bozo of the Week because of his political takes?" And I said, if you were to submit to him, do you have the sheet in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Can you read the names of these fine individuals?
Ned from Missouri, he says Matt needs to stop talking politics on his page. Tyler from Omaha also said something to the same extent.
Okay, right, the same. Yeah, we're not cutting Tyler short, but yeah, the exact same.
Yeah, right.
So I said I would take this on. I'm gonna take this on real briefly. I don't give a shit. That it is my page. Also, too, here's the problem. Here's why I don't care. It's hypocritical as hell. Because you're not upset that I talk about politics, which, by the way, is like pretty rarely on my page. It's not like I'm sitting there like tweeting out daily political feeling. It's hypocritical because, frankly, if I aligned with your political thought process, you'd be fine with me tweeting that out. You wouldn't care at all. You'd be like, Verderame's the man. Verderame's sticking to these people. But because you don't agree with me, your head starts to tighten and your brain starts to melt. You're like, I can't believe Verderame feels this way, but he likes the Chiefs. How do I square this? I don't care how you feel about it. If you don't like it, that's fine. Then don't interact with it. And if you really get pissed off about it, I got to tell you, you cannot follow me. I got 39,000 followers on Twitter. I don't really care. Nothing against you 2 fine individuals, Ned and Tyler. Hey, listen, you guys are fine. If we sat down on a beer, we'd probably get along. But I'm here to tell you, I'm allowed to have an opinion. You know why? Because it's America, guys. I can feel however I want. And the only reason you care and are bent out of shape is because I don't agree with you and it makes you nuts. If I agreed with you, you wouldn't give a damn. So, sorry, guys. I told you I'd address it, and I did. I'm not being mean to you. But at the same point, tough break. It's a real tough break. You'll be all right. You'll live. You'll fight through it. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sent out a tweet. And by the way, the last thing about it, because one of you was like, well, what the hell? Like, you don't let us respond. You turn off the notification. Yes, because I don't feel like Patriot Guy 1776, all those bots blowing up my comments, being like, I love the Constitution. So do I, bro. Doesn't mean I got to agree with you. Tough. So, yeah, look, you're that upset about it? Email me. You know where to find me.
The bots are a problem.
Oh, the bots are the worst.
My favorite bot, well, favorite is not the right word, but the ones that I think are hilarious are the ones that are always like the crypto bots that are like, this guy gave me really good advice, but then immediately block you so that you can't do anything with the tweet. It's just awful. But Tyler's the one who made the point about turning your comments off.
I respect that both of you put in the submission. I truly do.
Yeah,
I just understand. Again, nothing's going to change.
Great for you. Sean from California said that his beef of the week is with Tucker D. The D stands for never puts any damn effort into his ad reads. Franklin, step up. Yeah. I got one question for you. What the fuck? That's all. That's the only question I have.
And they'll give him the business. Don't take his nonsense.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
Sean.
I'm not going to stand for that. I've never seen anybody put more effort into an ad read.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this goes to show as we wrap up Bozo of the Week. You come for us. That's fine. We'll read it.
Yeah.
But understand that I'm not laying down. Okay. And Tucker also not laying down. So that is not the way that football show is going to roll. Okay. I am more than happy to read you calling me a bozo. And Lord knows, if we were running this segment for years, I'd be Bozo of the Week multiple times. Okay. I'm sure I will be Bozo of the Week multiple times. But I'm not laying down for anybody. It's not going to happen.
Can you imagine the Bozo of the Week submissions after the Chiefs would have drafted Josh Simmons after we spent like 3 podcasts saying like, oh, we don't really feel that good about it. And then people would have been like, you guys are fucking bozos.
I would have been Bozo of the Week that week. I would have taken it. I look forward to during the season when some Chiefs play, like when Jawan Taylor takes 2 penalties.
Yeah.
And Bozo of the Week is 57 submissions long. It's all the same thing.
At that point, we're gonna have to start taking votes, like who wins by as many submissions. We have to submit who the Bozo of the Week is for the voting. Maybe that's how it works. But all right, let's get into the crown jewel. This really is the crown jewel, I think, of the podcast. Here is power
many
rankings.
families to break up on Twitter.
Yes. You got the best of me last week with the game show power rankings, the spontaneous power rankings.
Yes.
People loved your list, and rightfully so. I didn't have Family Feud on there. That is a huge omission on my part. Nevertheless, we traverse. We move on. You're only as good as your next power rankings, right, Matt?
Yes.
So we are doing in 4th of July fashion the best cookout items, the best items at a 4th of July barbecue, 4th of July cookout. I don't like calling it a barbecue. I like calling it a cookout because it's not barbecue food. 5 to 1. We'll start with number 5. What do you got at number 5 on your list, Matt?
So number 5, I'm saying, look, you got to have sides are important in this situation. And
100%.
More sides as we go along here, but I'm gonna start out with potato salad. It's just a staple. And by the way, it's got to be seasoned. None of this bullshit. You just like people like chop up potatoes and then dump it in a bowl of mayonnaise. Like you got to actually like season the damn thing. But potato salad 5.
I also have potato salad at 5. I waffled back and forth between potato salad and mac salad because I think that there's also like different macaroni salads you can have. You can have
how much crunch is there?
Right. And then like, is it a mayonnaise based like mac salad? Is it a more like an oil based mac salad? Same thing with pasta salad is, I guess, mac salad's kind of the same thing, but there is a big difference. The thing about potato salad though is you get the nice mustard and mayonnaise and like you get the nice seasoned one, the paprika on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, come on. That is,
if I knew it was that potato salad, it'd be higher on the list, but there's too many subpar potato salads.
There's a lot of variations.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 4 for you. I'm also right there with you. Potato salad at 5 for me. So
we might have the same one based on what you said. I got macaroni salad.
Okay, interesting.
Because again, I feel like if you go and there's not both of those, like, what are we doing here? Like, I can tell you right now, they're both in my fridge as we speak.
Yeah, pretty American.
Yeah,
both those things pretty American.
Yes.
My number 4. Not mac salad. Mac salad is actually like my honorable mention number 6 because it was like a tie on 5 there. Number 4 for me is actually corn on the cob. Corn on the cob. That seems very American. I do love it. Nice peaches and cream corn on the cob that you can get out here too. Very, very good corn. And I like it also on the grill. You know, you grill, you get
you got
the star on it. Yeah, it's wonderful. Look, boiling, you're good with boiled corn, right? Like it's fine. But like if you have the opportunity to put it on the grill, it makes it so much better.
We used to corn on the cob grill all the time. In fact, right at the table I'm sitting at right now, way back when family was eating corn on the cob, one of my relatives who will remain nameless for the moment, my aunt, she was sitting there and she was really going to town on it. And my uncle looked up and he's like, "Hey, you storing some of that for the winter?" He kind of she flipped out on the table. It was great. So I got a soft spot for corn on the cob. It caused a good family squabble. Number 3 for me, hot dogs, man.
Oh,
hot dogs. Just a good old fashioned dog. And I'm not one of these people are weird about hot dog. Like,
I agree. People are.
Like, bro, I don't give a fuck what you're putting on it. It's your hot dog. Like, I moved to Chicago and people freak out. Like, don't you put ketchup on it? Like, yeah, actually I am. like ketchup, mustard, relish, all of it. I'm not putting on that stupid dill pickle, but whatever. You want to do that, be your own person. Okay. Hot dogs. Yeah. Like, I feel like if you show up to a cookout on July 4th and somebody's like, yeah, no hot dogs.
You're like, what? Yeah.
What are you, with the Russians? Like, what the hell happened? So, it's, like, what happened? Soviet Union, like 1972 here? Like, what the hell happened? So, yeah, no, I'm going dogs all day long. You
literally have a hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July.
Yes, which I can't watch. I'm disgusted by. But yes, 3.
That's very fair. 3 for me. I got apple pie. Man, apple pie. One of those things. Sometimes maybe this is a blind spot for me. I don't usually think about when I go to a cookout like desserts at a cookout. Because I just think sometimes I'm just so focused on like main course food side stuff like that. But apple pie is one of those things that we usually have at 4th of July, just because the classic stereotype of American is apple pie, baseball and apple pie.
Right.
So I think on the 4th of July especially, you got to have apple pie with a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top of it to kind of cap off your cookout. Oh, yeah. I think number 3, apple pie for me. Number 2 for you, Matt.
Burgers. Oh,
yeah,
nice juicy cheeseburger. Mm-hmm. Don't give me any of that. Like, oh, I found turkey burgers. Like, I will put you in the grill.
Give me beef.
Yeah, it's got to be beef. I normally am more like, I like the leaner burgers typically, but on July 4th, give me a nice 80-20.
No, yeah.
Okay, give me one of those. I want that thing sizzling. So yeah, burgers for me, man. Cheeseburger, stack it up. That's what I'll put the pickle on. Like, give me just all day. I might even have 2 burgers. Like, let's make it happen.
Get after it. Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is hot dogs.
There you go.
I got hot dogs pretty high because I'm just a big hot dog guy in general. And I like your thought process when it comes to putting things on a hot dog. I'm fairly traditional when it comes to it. I like just like the mustard and the relish. Those are like the things that I usually like to put on it. Like, but if people put ketchup on it, I'm not going to get upset. Like, that's their hot dog. It's not my hot dog. I know some people are also picky about like, I need it all beef. I need it. Dude, you could give me the 99-cent Oscar Myers and I wouldn't give a shit.
Yep. I cannot stand. There's nothing worse at the party than the guy who's like, "Oh, gonna put ketchup on that hot dog." Yeah, bro. Actually, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, what, you gonna eat it?
Yeah.
People are the worst. But yeah, and anyway, so and the number 1 for me, man, I got brats.
Brats is a strong one.
I feel like that's a real Midwestern thing, but like I've gotten into it. Like that is
your list is good, by the way.
And brats are good, man. Brats are really good. And like, yeah, I thought about apple pie. I thought about throwing chips on there. I mean, obviously it goes without saying beer. But yeah. Oh, may not go without saying. So but yeah, I mean, number 1 for me is brats, man, all day.
And number 1 for me is beer. I mean, you cannot have a 4th of July barbecue without beer. I mean, I left off burgers. I left off brats because I said, you know what the important thing is here?
Just getting drunk.
It is beer and it is hot dogs. Those are the first 2 things. Those are the first 2 things I wrote down on my list. I was like, well, I know beer is number 1, and I know hot dogs are going to be number 2 because those are 2 American things. I'm ignoring the fact that a lot of beer is German. Those 2 American things: an ice cold beer, a hot dog.
I got my Coors Light. I got a dog.
Coors Light and a hot dog. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I thought beer went without saying. That's okay. It went with saying. Yeah. I'm with you, man. If you can't have a beer on July 4th, like, just sad. Yeah, man. Unless you got a real good reason. Like, I feel like I need a beer. So
it's true. It's communism at that point.
Yeah. So, and anywho, so that's our power rankings. Go ahead. Yeah. And hey, there's a bunch of opportunities for Beef and Bozo of the week this week with these people at your cookouts.
That is really good point.
I don't want anybody who watches this show not submit. There better be some submissions going on. Like, you're going to tell me that your Uncle Bob, who got 13 lining kugels in and passed out face down the deck and pissed himself, like, you don't have a Beef of the Week, Bozo of the Week with that guy, okay? Or if you are that guy, like, people better be submitting.
Yeah, then your beef would be with the Cougs, Like, I got a beef with 13 line of Google Summer Shandies because they made me JPP my hand.
I was like, oops. And woke up on the 6th. Yeah. So yeah. I want submissions. Don't be telling me, like, oh, I didn't see Beef of the Week, Bozo. Even if you're seeing somebody across the way, there's always some asshole playing their music way too loud.
True.
Insanely obnoxious. They're in their America shirt. And by the way, here, a preemptive Bozo of the Week. Anybody who's blasting Born in the USA by Springsteen is a bozo. You know why? Listen to the lyrics of that song. That is about guys coming back from Nam being treated like shit by American citizens. That's what that's. I always love when people blast that. Like, this is what my jam is. This is what I'm about. I'm like, you understand that this is saying how crappy Americans were to other Americans, right? So don't be that guy. Hey, look, love this song. It's a great song.
Yeah.
But don't blast it on July 4th like it's some great patriotic anthem. It is the furthest thing from that if you can listen to the words for 3 seconds. So preemptive Bozo.
There you go. Yeah, so you get those in the description. We'll have the polls out for the power rankings. Matt, your list is strong. I don't feel great about my chances. I'll be honest. Looking
You're
at
going to
my
want people over a beer. You'll be all right.
might be true. I don't know. We'll see.
I bet we just walked in the house. We're going to have to wrap this mother. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're ready to go. Everybody enjoy your July 4th. Be safe. Be responsible. Have a blast.
I don't need to do anything else. Thank you to Ben Holiday, Bald and Bob Burger, Holiday Distillery. We'll be back on Wednesday. See you folks then.